Okay, BJ, thanks first of all for having us. It's been great to experience some genuine Zimbabwean hospitality.
It has been an honor to have both of you here and to be able to see what the church in Australia is doing in our part of the world.
Can you describe for us the partnership between Australian churches and Zimbabwean churches?
For me, the partnership is a symbol of what Christ sacrificed his love for, in that those who have see it fit to lower themselves down to come and embrace us and say, come brother, you and I are one. What are your needs? How can I help so that I bring you up to the level where I am? Because we are one. And that is what partnership means. We feel a sense in which the Australian church is not saying, because we give you, this is what we want. But there is always a sense in which they say, it comes out very distinctly. What can I do to help you, bring you to a level where you can feel dignified as you live in this world to offer yourselves to God's service? That's what partnership has done to us. It has brought us to a level where we feel we are equal with you and that we share this glorious love that Christ saw fit to share, to shed his blood for.
I think you showed Mark and I a great example of partnership out at KCV today.
Yes.
Do you want to describe for people a bit more about the ministry that goes on there?
Well, if I were to describe what it has resembled, what KCV resembled, it has resembled a situation where we shared a vision of Christ's love and saying, they are neglected children, parents have died, there is nobody look after them. We will have to respond to this need. And in doing that, brothers thousands of kilometers away say, oh, our brothers have this plight, but they want to be in God's service and really do great work for God. We have the resources, they don't have. We will open our arms and say, what can we do to help? And you saw the great work that has been done. 4 houses, 2 Australian houses, 1 American house, 1 New Zealand house, and a 5th, a Zimbabwean house, which we are now struggling to finish because of the economy. But we are still getting friends who are saying, can we assist? And that's still a great expression of partnership as we endeavor to be in his service together. So for us, when we look at KCV, we are once more reminded, and I know my friends in Australia are not aware of, but we are reminded of what Christ did on the cross when he sacrificed so that you and us can be called the children of God. So KCV is a typical resemblance of what Christ died on the cross for. Sacrifice so that the next person can live, can be better than I am.
Which is very much the ministry of KCV,
That
isn't
is
it?
the ministry of KCV.
Yeah, it's helping people who have no one else to help them.
Yes.
And what other areas?
The other areas, as you will see tomorrow when we go out into the bush, you will see churches we've established where we've preached to them, they've embraced Christ, they've accepted Christ, they worship him passionately, but under extreme conditions. They're no building. And in this hot sun and in this cold weather, they're out in the open, celebrating a table, out in the open, worshiping Christ, out in the open, and yearning for a day when they too can have a building. And that is a mammoth task. And once again, as we begin our training program, we'll be saying to our brothers, can you support the training programs that will empower our less fortunate children to have skills that they can use to earn an income, and in so doing also be able to afford to put into the Lord's plate. But at the same time, train and build churches in these new areas so that these people too can have a roof over their head as they praise the Lord that they so dearly love.
Because we saw some in the urban areas today. We saw the examples and
You saw the
fruits
example
there.
of a pastor staying in the backyard room, not even a room, but a sort of an enclave, with all his furniture, his bed, his wife and daughter, staying in a crowded place, but still smiling
Yeah,
and wanting to serve God.
and he's been doing that for 4 years.
They've been doing that for 4 years.
So
The
this,
church, unfortunately, is trying to build a house, but because of the economical constraints that Zimbabwe is going through, it has become a nightmare. The love is there, the desire is there, but the resources are not there.
would you say that sort of sums up Zimbabwe at the moment?
That
Great need, under
that
resourced.
is what sums up Zimbabwe. You are a professor at a university. All you are given is an allowance of 1,000. There are no resources. The government coffers are empty. They have no resources to pay. But there is a lot of sacrifice as they look forward to the day when we too can have a responsible government that will, be concerned about the welfare of its people.
And this is just the Bulawayo area that we're
This is
talking
just a
about, isn't it?
Bulawayo area, and when you think of the whole nation, you can see the magnitude of suffering that our people are experiencing, and their desire once again to rejoin the world, the world, the civilized world.
To be back into the global village again.
Into the global village again. At the moment, we are out like outcasts. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you, and just to sort of maybe finish up, can you express what it means to be a Zimbabwean Church of Christ person?
And to be a Zimbabwean Church of Christ says to me, here are the constraints. Here are the possibilities. Remain focused on Christ and never forget that He knows your wants even before you say them. But always be trusting in Him. Remain faithful and always remember these are the challenges that are before you, but pick up the cross and follow me. That's how we feel in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see our people throw everything else and be faithful in a big way, because the church in Zimbabwe has accepted the challenge and is walking faithfully, knowing that God in His time will intervene on their behalf.
Yeah.
And we are grateful to our brotherhood for embracing us at a time when we would otherwise be having no friends. They've remained faithful. They've come in droves into the country to see. We've just had a medical team that saw for itself the suffering of people who are sick and they cannot access medical care. So when you see that love, you are just but humbled in realizing that indeed His death on the cross has true meaning to us. Because in this time of need, the church in Australia and in New Zealand in particular have remained very faithful to our needs.
Yeah. Well, I know from both Mark and myself that we've been really privileged to represent the church in Australia and to see where the partnership is working and where the partnership can also be maybe increased.
And it is a great honor, because it is people like you who go back to be ambassadors for John Gilmore as he once again takes the mantle of representing the different ministries that the Australian churches share globally with their Christian brothers. So when it is not just John, but others who come, we know that the gospel will be spread wider and more effectively, because there are many who are in the battle line.